back to Belle's Library. I'm Heather, and today it is time to do my August Belle's Bookland TBR game. I absolutely love doing this video every month, and this month I'm really hoping for some really good rolls, and I'm hoping that my TBR does not get insanely crazy. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet and you're new here, I would absolutely love for you to click that little red button down there and join in the family so we can chit chat some more. And I will have my Instagram and Goodreads also linked down below for you guys if you want to check those out. So we're gonna go ahead and check out all of the books that Belle's Bookland decided I needed to read last month and see how I'm doing and if I need to take any punishments. So, Belle's Bookland. I had, I think, 11 books it was at the end of Belle's Bookland, and so many fantasies and longer books, and it was just like, it was just a really ridiculously crazy month last month with my TBR. Belle's Bookland was just not super kind to me, but I feel like I did pretty well considering. I did have Summerween, which I got no like horror or mystery thrillers or anything to work into my TBR, so pretty much the first week of the month, I just didn't do any Belle's Bookland TBR. And then I was just like, okay, let's catch up on these other 11 books for the next 3 weeks. And also I had the tarot readathon going on, and I had so much fun doing all the readathons, but it was just like, whoa. So anyways, the 11 books that I had to read, how did I do? So first I had Darling by Kay Ancrum, and I did read that one. I also had Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. That one got finished. We had The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty and The Beautiful by Renee Audier. Both of those finished. Then we had The Names They Gave Us by Emery Lord for the next roll, and I did finish this one as well. And then we had The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender, and I have not started this one. But today is the 29th, so I have today and 2 more days. So 3 days to get through that one, and I really feel like I can finish that one, so I'm not going to take a punishment there. And then I had Lovely War by Julie Berry, which I finished, and Geek Love by Catherine Dunn, which I finished. And then we had Creatures of Passage by Maroa Jahide, and this one I am about halfway through right now, so I should be able to finish this one up. This one's just taking me a little bit longer to get through because I can't read it in like huge chunks. Like it's one of those ones where I'm just reading a little bit each day. It's just taking me a little longer to get through, but just has some darker themes to it. And then I had 2 punishments that I took last month, and that was Throne of Glass, which is the oldest book on my TBR, and I have finished that one. And then I also had like a book that I'm not as excited about reading as when I bought it, and that was Paper Towns by John Green, and I have not read this one. I thought I was going to have the audiobook for this one, was my plan, and I haven't been reading any audiobooks for the last few days because I'm kind of out of audiobooks for the month, and I didn't want to jump into things I would be reading for next month. So I'm waiting for my hold to come through. I'm really hoping it does, and then I can finish it up by the end of this month. If not, the hold should come through like probably right at the beginning of August. So I'm just kind of going to roll that one over. I'm not going to take a punishment, but like it has to get finished by the end of August. So that's kind of what I'm doing with that one. So overall, I'm not going to take any punishments this month. So unless like I end up not being able to actually finish a couple of the books that I'm still working on, then I will take those punishments in August. Otherwise, we're just going to go with it, and we're going to roll over Paper Towns if need be. So I am going to be making a slight change to Belle's Bookland, nothing like too crazy. If you haven't checked out my original video back in February when I started, that will give you more of the rules and everything to the game, but they're pretty straightforward. So, you know, it's kind of like Candyland. I roll a land on a certain color. That gives me a genre to read from. I also have a few spots that are special spots for prompts, and I have a few punishment spots that I stop, and I have prompts for punishment spots and some different stuff like that. But I've noticed in the last few months that I've been getting a lot of rolls, and I've been having 9, 10, 11 books on my TBR, and I just can't always keep up with that because I am going to be starting school again in August. I'm going into my last semester of nursing school, and I know I'm just not going to be able to keep up with all that. And also, I've just been really getting into doing more of the readathons that have been going on. There's been so many fun ones going on in the bookish community, and I'm just loving being a part of that. But there's a lot of different prompts and stuff that goes with it, and then sometimes I end up adding so many books into my TBR. I'm like busting at the seams with all these books I'm trying to read in a month, and it just gets a little crazy. So I need Belle's Bookland to be a little nicer to me, and part of the game that I kind of liked was the idea that the dice, depending on what I'm rolling, could really make it variable to how many books I'm going to be reading. And so I was like, I don't really know that I want to set, like, I want to just do 6 rolls and always have 6 books or something like that. Like, I do like the idea that the dice kind of gives it a little mystery to how many books I'm going to be reading. So I'm going to be using a different dice. And this dice is a 20-sided die. And so, I mean, I can roll small numbers, 1, 2, 3, or I can roll all the way up to 20. And I'm hoping that that will essentially help me just kind of do a few less spaces. I know when I was doing this, kind of practicing, I was getting like 4 to 7, 6 books. It was like a little bit more manageable to where I am at. So we're gonna be using this new die. Now, speaking of readathons for the month of August, I am going to be participating in one for sure. There may be some more, maybe I can try and squeeze in there, and we'll see. But I'm gonna be doing the Enneagram readathon, and that is running from August 1st through the 14th. Super excited about this one. I just put out a TBR for it yesterday, so I will link it for you guys up top and down below if you want to check out kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to read for some of the prompts for that. But I should be having some vlogs coming out with that readathon, and I'm really excited about it. Also, JD Ray Reads just put out her video about the Polarathon, The Meltdown, and it sounds really fun, and it's like a 36-hour readathon, which is kind of random time amount, but it's kind of fun, and she just laid it out super cute. So I'm like, it's really short, so maybe I can try and kind of squeeze it in there, but I have to kind of look more into what kind of books I could maybe do for it, and just kind of a little bit more into if that can fit in for me. And it's at the end of the month, so I've got a little time for that, so that was a possibility. And other than that, I know there's quite a few other readathons I'm sure going on, but I just haven't like officially looked into any more that I'm going to be doing. I just know I'm going to be doing the Enneagram one for sure. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start rolling, and hopefully the Bookland gods will be with us today, and we will just have a really good TBR this month, and it won't be like July, which was just crazy. Okay, roll number 1. Okay, so we've got a little chip. We've got the new dice. This one's got 20 sides. And so I'm hoping that will help my TBR a little bit. Oh my goodness. And the first thing we got, oh, it's a 1. What the heck? Okay. So roll 1 is a contemporary. It's like, no, we're not just going to make this easier on you. Well, no. The Bookland gods are not with us. We're going to roll a 1. Like, really? Really? Okay. Well, we got a contemporary, though, and I'm, like, super in the mood for some good contemporaries or romance. Like, I'm feeling that. So I'm going to be doing The Cost of Knowing by Brittany Morse, and I'm beyond excited about this one. This one, so Slay was Brittany Morse's first novel that she put out, and I adored the heck out of that one, so I cannot wait to read this next one by her. I'm so excited. We're basically following our main character. He can like touch things and see the future. So like he'll touch his car and he sees it totaled like, you know, years in the future, and he touches his girlfriend and he sees them breaking up, and it kind of freaks him out. So one day he touches a photo and he sees his brother's imminent death, and he is obviously really shook up, and he's like, what is happening? And it's basically him following, and him and his brother, they're trying to deal with some of their past and their future, and it's a race for time, as they're kind of figuring these things out. And we're also looking into being a young Black man in America as well. So I know Brittany Morris, she does great books that talk about race and just in such a manageable way that you can just like really relate to. And so I'm really excited to be reading her next book.
All right, let's try roll number 2. That's better. Okay, so it was a 14. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Another contemporary.
Okay, well, we got another contemporary, but at least we rolled a 14. So it's a little bit better there. So for this one, I'm actually going to throw in the buddy read that I am doing for the Enneagram readathon, and that is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I'm excited to read a book by her. Everybody really enjoys her books and writing, and I haven't quite found the one that I want to read, but this one sounds good, and so we're going to jump in and see how I like her books. So in this one, we basically have Claudia, and Monday doesn't show up for the first day of school, and she's like, this is weird, something's wrong. And when she doesn't end up showing up through like the second week of school, she's like, where is she? She wouldn't leave me to deal with tests and bullies and everything else in this world, and something just isn't right. And she tries to go to Monday's mom and her sister, and they just aren't helpful or telling her anything. And she's like, what is going on? And so she starts asking around, and like nobody seems to remember the last time that they saw Monday. And she's like, how can this even happen? This is just crazy. So I'm excited to jump into this one and see how it goes. I'm very excited.
All right, roll number 3 is 15. Good stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's supposed to help me get some different stuff, and now I'm just getting straight contemporary. Not that I'm mad about it.
Well, all right, we're just gonna have a contemporary month, I guess. We've got another one, and for this one, I'm gonna throw in Harley in the Sky by Akemi Dawn Bowman. I'm pretty sure this was on my June TBR, and I didn't get to it, but I'm trying. I really want to get to this book because it's a circus book, and I like to read circus books in the summer, and it just sounds good, and so we're just gonna really try and make it happen, okay? So, in this one, we're following Harley, and her parents own a circus, and she loves watching the trapeze artist, and she really wants to be one, but her parents are like, no, you need to go to school. And so they end up getting into this big fight, argument, and Harley takes off, and she runs away to the rival circus and joins them. And she gets thrown into this new, brutal but beautiful world, and so it's about her kind of finding herself and getting to know the circus, and then also dealing with the repercussions from leaving her family and trying to figure that out.
Okay, let's go for roll number 4 and see what that gets us. Okay, we've got an 8. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A romance. Yay!
Yay, we got a romance! I'm excited! So for this one, I'm going to continue in the Brown Sisters trilogy and read the last book, which is Actor Age Eve Brown, and these are by Talia Hibbert. So in this one, we're following Eve, and she is the youngest sister out of the Brown sisters, and she's kind of just a hot mess. She creates chaos everywhere she goes, and so she's at this really elegant wedding, and she ends up ruining it in some way in her chaos. And her parents are like, okay, it's time that you grew up. You need to prove yourself to us and like get your life together. And so she ends up at this B&B, and Jacob is our other main character here, and he owns the B&B. He wants to be like top of the hospitality industry, and he's just always like in control. And so she ends up applying for like a chef job there at the B&B, and he's all, no, I am not feeling the purple-haired vibes going on here. But then she accidentally hits him with her car when she goes to leave, and so she ends up kind of to try and make up for everything that's happened. She's trying to help out more around the inn and other areas that she can in his life, and just really kind of infiltrates into his life, and he kind of hates it but kind of loves it. So yeah, really excited for this really fun romance and to see how this one goes.
All right, let's go for roll number 5 and see what that gets us. Another 1. So that actually moves us into a prompt card. So let's see what we've got here. Random number generator plus physical TBR. So with this one, I'm basically going to go to my bookshelves and I'll random number generate the shelves that I have, and then random number generate like the number of books to go along my shelves, and see what book we're going to read off of my books.
All right, well, we rolled another 1, which isn't great, but I'm happy to have a prompt card. So we are going to random generate a little bit here. So these top 2 shelves that you're seeing, I've read all the books on these shelves, and I've read a part of this 3rd shelf that you can kind of see. So I've got a little bit there, and then I've got 2 more shelves of TBR books, and I've got a shelf over here. So we'll say like 1, 2, 3, and 4. So working our way down, and then over there, that's going to be the first number that we generate here. So let me just pull up a random number generator. Okay, so I've got the random number generator here. So it's going to tell us the number here. So I'm going to generate, so 3. So that's at my very bottom shelf. So let me count how many books I have on that shelf. Okay, so I kind of have 13 books down there, but not really. I have a whole series of like the City of Bones, Cassandra Clare series down there. I'm just counting that as 1. So I technically have more than 13, but that's how we're going to do that. Okay, so here we go again. We've got 1 to 13 and number 10. Okay, so let me see what book number 10 is. Okay, so it's Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I have to say that this is like such a gorgeous book. I love this like black and red, but then look at like the inside. The naked book is just, it's stunning and beautiful, and I love it. I'm pretty sure this is a standalone fantasy too, so I'm excited about that because I need some more of that in my life. Okay, so this is a Alice in Wonderland retelling type story. We basically have Catherine, and she's like favored by the unmarried king, and her mom thinks that she could get a marriage proposal, and Catherine kind of doesn't really want that though. She wants to open like a bakery, and I don't know. So there's something along those lines. We'll find out more as I read this one. I did read, I've read a few books by Marissa Meyer. I read the Renegade series and really enjoyed it, and I read Cinder by her, and I really want to continue that series. But her writing is just really like easy to get through and quick, and you just like get absorbed into the stories, and she does really good like she does really good, like, where you have 2 sides to things and you can see both sides. I can't think of the actual terms at the moment, but I'm excited to have this on my TBR, essentially.
Okay, we're moving into roll number 6. Let's see what we got. Looks like a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to be a fantasy.
Okay, so now we have roll number 6, and this one was a fantasy. So it's first fantasy, I mean, I guess Heartless counts, but the actual fantasy roll. And so I'm going to be doing Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, and I'm actually buddy reading this with Erin, and I am super excited to be doing so. We've been really enjoying doing some buddy reads lately, and this is another standalone fantasy. Guess it's just gonna be a month for that, I guess. But we are following Elizabeth, and she grew up in this great library where all of these grimoires are kept. They are like chained up and protected because basically sorcerers are like evil in this world, and their grimoires can turn into like monsters if they're unleashed or something like that. And she wants to become a warden to basically like take care of one of these libraries and make sure that all these books don't get into the wrong hands. So one day though, this crazy like sabotage happens, and one of the most dangerous grimoires gets loose, and somehow Elizabeth ends up getting implicated in this happening, and she ends up having to like team up with this sorcerer and Nathaniel to try and clear her name, and maybe like some of her ideas about sorcerers get a little, those boundaries kind of get pushed a little. So I am really excited to be reading this book and getting into some of Margaret Rogerson's books, because a few of her books sound very intriguing to me.
All right, roll 7. Here we go. Oh my gosh, another 1. Are you kidding me? I think this game has something against me.
All right, I was really hoping to have a smaller TBR, and I just like can't believe that we rolled another 1. Like another 1, really? We're really gonna stack up this TBR again? Anyways, I don't think I mentioned what I actually landed on, but I landed on a mystery or thriller square. And so for that one, I'm going to be doing Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. And this one I'm actually buddy reading with Alita and the books, and she has a booktube channel, and we just recently kind of found each other, and we are going to be buddy reading this one in August. So in this one, we are following this apartment sitter, and there are 3 rules when she apartment sits. No visitors, no nights spent away from the apartment, and no disturbing the other residents, all of whom are rich or famous or both. So while she is apartment sitting in this like upscale Manhattan apartment building, she makes friends with another girl, Ingrid, and Jules and Ingrid, they hang out a lot, and then Ingrid's like, I feel like something's not right, and Jules is like, no, what? And Ingrid ends up going missing that night, and Jules is like, what is happening? And as she tries to dig in where her friend went, she starts discovering that Ingrid is not the first apartment sitter that has gone missing in this building, and there may be a little bit more going on than she knew. So, very excited to get into another Riley Sager book. I have read Home Before Dark by him, and I really enjoyed that one, so let's see how this one goes.
All right, roll number 8. Here we go. 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoa, 10, 11. Okay, romance it is.
So we got another romance for roll number 8. I am beyond excited about that, and I'm going to be reading Dial A for Aunties in this one. It sounds super funny and cute. I think it's being blurbed as like a murder mystery rom-com. I don't know, it sounds like hilarious. I've heard great things about it. We're basically following Meddy, and she goes on this like blind date to a wedding, and things go awry, and her date, she accidentally ends up killing him in some way or something, and she calls her mom, and her mom calls her aunts, and they all show up, and they're trying to get rid of this body, and then the body gets like sent to like her longtime crush in like an ice chest or something, and it's just, I don't know, it sounds like things just go really awry, and I've heard really great things about it, so I'm all there for it, and I'm very excited to be getting into that one. And then let's see if I have one more book, or if the gods of Belle's Bookland will just leave me with 8.
All right, roll number 9. Let's see if we can just not have a 9th book. I think that's it. That was a 12. Oh. It's very blurry, but that gets us all the way there.
Okay, so we rolled a 12 and we are off the board. So 8 books. That's not terrible. It's a little bit more than I wanted, but I think I can handle 8 books for the month. I'm pretty sure I can get through that, and I don't have as many readathon plans at the moment, so I'm thinking, hopefully, that is going to be okay. Now, the only thing I did not get to include in my TBR, though, was I did not get my Buzzwordathon book or my book covered book club book in there, so I'm going to be just going through those really fast with you guys. So for the Buzzwordathon this month, the theme is to have some kind of time of day in the title, like noon or morning or night, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be doing Welcome to Night Vale, and it's not necessarily used in the title as the time of day, but it's there in the title. And this is by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Craner, and it's actually like they originally had it as a podcast and then they made it into a book. But it sounds really fun. We're following this town called Night Vale, and in this town, like, ghosts and aliens and government conspiracies are like an everyday event. And we have these two women that we're following in this town. One of them, she's like a 19-year-old. She owns a pawn shop, and this like mysterious guy comes in and hands her this paper, and it just says two words on it: King City. But the next weird part is that she literally like can't get it out of her hand once it's there. She's like, what is happening? And she keeps asking people around about this man, and nobody seems to be able to remember things about him. And then we have this other mom who has a teenage son that we're following. Well, we're following the mom, not the son. But the son is a shapeshifter, and the mom also keeps kind of seeing around town the son's father, who left them when he was a baby, and both her and the dad were teenagers, and she keeps seeing him as he was when he left, and she's like, what is going on? And she's trying to like reconnect with her teenage son, who is a teenager, and so he's like, mom. But yeah, so we're following both of these ladies, and somehow their like storylines are gonna interconnect, and they all lead back to those two words, King City. So, sounds really different, and I am intrigued. And then for the book covered book club, the theme this month, so for this one, it's like a picture or something that's on the cover, and it's a big bloom. So not like a lot of little flowers, but like one big flower kind of a thing. So for this one, I'm actually going to be doing Carrie by Stephen King. And so there's like a cover, I'll put it up, but basically it's like the corsage for the prom, like the big flower, and that's kind of what's on there. And it's like, I think, a skull in the middle, but that is a big bloom. So that's what we're going to be doing, because I found out about this Discord channel. It's with a YouTube channel. I just learned about this very recently, so I don't remember the name, but I'll make sure to have the info down below. And basically, the Discord is every month they're going to do a Stephen King book in publication order. So his first book was Carrie, and so we're starting there this month. And I don't know that I'll read all of the books every month. That's a lot of Stephen King, but I might jump in every once in a while, and I'm down to read Carrie, and it kind of fits into the book covered book club. So excited about that. So this is basically following Carrie, and she has a terrifying power, and she knows that she shouldn't unleash it on people, but then she goes to prom, and she is just humiliated one time too many, and there you go. That's kind of how the storyline is going to go. I did just remember, though, that I would like to try and do one other Buzzwordathon book, because I did not do the July one. It's like the first month that I've missed, but it didn't squeeze in there and fit. So I want to try and get to One Last Stop, because last month's was last, the word last. And so I would like to do that one by Casey McQuiston. And so we're following August, and she moves to New York City, and she doesn't really believe in big cinematic love stories and such. And then she is riding the subway, and she meets Jane, I think it was. Yes, Jane on the subway, and she's in this bomber leather jacket, and they kind of hit it off. But lo and behold, Jane is from the 1970s, and somehow she's time traveled on this subway or something like that. And so it's their romance story, and also I think they're trying to figure out how to get Jane out of the loop of the 1970s or something. I don't know. I read Casey McQuiston's other book, and it was okay, so I'm hoping this one's even better, because people really like her books, so I'm trying to give it another chance. And this one sounds really cute. I love the idea of the time traveling and New York City and stuff like that. So we'll see. But that is essentially what we've got going on for my TBR for the month. So we've got 8 books plus a few extras if I can for my book club stuff, and that's not too bad. That's not too bad. We're going to try and start strong at the beginning of the month. Okay, I will talk to you guys super soon, and I hope you guys have a great month for August. Oh, definitely tell me, like, what are you guys reading next month? Or any readathons going on? I want to hear about some readathons going on so I can kind of look into that a little bit more. Okay, talk to you later. Bye!